How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Blue Shifting and welcome back to Riddle Joker. Last time we left, we're on a bit of another mission now where we're trying to track down some information about some Astrals who've just been going missing. Apparently, like, the operations that have been being conducted on such cases have been pretty professional. So we're a little nervous because we think that there might make another play for Ayase, especially during the upcoming festival. So the best plan we can come up with, because Ayase's kind of has to be participant because of her status and her role as, you know, the president, the student council president, and all that. Like, she's got to have to do something, and so we can't just lock her away, because even if we could, it wouldn't be safer, really. So our plan is to just kind of do a big group activity and make sure she's just never alone, so that we just can always keep tabs on her. So if something did happen, we'd know right away, we could intervene. Decent plan, a little nerve-wracking, but overall, it's going over pretty well. And so we're kind of meeting up together with everybody, all of our friends that we've made, and we're going to try and decide what we're going to do for our vending. I have no idea if we actually get to choose or if it's going to be just a group consensus in general. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But anyway, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy ourselves some nice, lovely, really just enjoyable, heartwarming times. This game's just been very just fun, mostly uplifting and smiles, and then it's got its action-y bits in it too. So it's kind of like an action rom-com. It's pretty good. I'm really liking the theme so far. So yeah, let's sit back and enjoy. All right, so everyone's come up with some ideas by now.
すみません。考えはしたんですが、なかなかいい案が出なくって。
Yeah, the trouble is with our abilities too. How do we incorporate so many of our abilities, because they are very diverse?
僕も同じかな。せっかくだからアストラルを生かしたオリジナリティのあるものがいいとは思うんだけど、それが難しくて。
But we've seen each other practicing with our abilities, so maybe we'll have some good insight.
アストラル能力を使わなくてもいいなら目立つのを考えはしたんだけど。
Well, what's that idea? Maybe we can actually put some twists on it.
何？どんな出し物？
握手会さ！
Like speed dating?
握手会？って言うと、綾瀬先輩のですか？
もちろん。発表祭で物販を行い CD を買ってくれた人と握手をすることでドドーンと大儲け。
You're right, but Ayase would hate that.
初の商業的活動としても注目を浴びると思うんだよね。
I'm gonna have to veto this if I get to say. Wow, didn't expect you to have a mind for business.
なんか嫌な言い方。
That's not an insult, it's just surprising. Not everyone likes business stuff.
金の亡者ではないけれども、学生のイベントとはいえ赤字を垂れ流すってのも良くないと思うだけさ。費用にも限界があるわけじゃないか。それなら回収を見込める出し物の方が予算枠も規模も大きくできる。
Do we get the pocket money that we make? I assumed that that would just go straight to, like, I don't know, some kind of fundraiser or to the school itself.
規模が小さいと地味になりがち。人目を引くのも難しいと思うんだよね。
一理あるね。もちろんアイディアでカバーすることも可能だけど、予算があるに越したことはないと私も思うよ。でもその場合、綾瀬先輩に負担を強いることになりますけど。
Yeah, and like the whole point of this activity was for us to work as a team. I mean, we might be working together with that idea, but it would just be Ayase having a meet and greet while we just kind of ran the thing. Like, that's not quite what the spirit of this whole idea was about.
そこら辺はどうですか、綾瀬先輩？絶対嫌です。
笑顔なのに怖い。
A little bit of her realness came through.
そんな怒らないで。断られるとは思ってたから言っただけ。冗談、本気じゃない。だからそのオーラをしまって。
怒っているわけじゃありませんよ。でもグッズを作ったり握手をしたりするのは恥ずかしすぎます。そもそもそういう活動はしたくありません。
There's the political reason. Yeah, a meet and greet would make it way too easy for strangers to come in contact with her. Too risky. And even then, it's a bit too money-focused for a simple school fair. I doubt the school would approve.
本人の意思を無視するわけにもいかないから、握手会は却下。とすると、二条院さんは何かある？
I am really interested to see. Would it be a, like, historical recreation or play?
私は時代劇とか。
Hazuki, I've got your number.
時代劇舞台でですか？
That does sound kind of fun.
舞台でもいいし、ゲリライベントみたいに路上でしてもいいんだ。盾を一度やってみたいなって。
It would be kind of cool to do a historical-based play, but using astral abilities to fight it theatrically. I mean, Hazuki alone could really do a pretty impressive show. And what if we changed it where she wasn't just like a general? What if she were like a water dragon or something? That'd be sweet. If we try to create some special effects with our abilities, we could probably make something pretty eye-catching. Well, we'd certainly notice that almost instantly Mitsukaze-san disappeared. And doing it out on the sidewalk would allow us to constantly be on the move, making it that much harder to track us. Could potentially work, depending on how we did it.
でも、スオが言っていた予算の問題があるな。失念していた。さすがにチケットを売るわけにもいかん。
We could ask for donations, possibly, but that's, I'm not sure that's a great idea.
時代劇ってなると、衣装とか小物とか、結構いろいろ必要になりますね。
Well, could we borrow some from the drama team? There's gotta be a drama club.
時代劇にこだわらなければ盾はできると思うけど。
盾はちょっと難しいかもしれません。
Challenging, yeah, but that's kind of what makes it fun. I don't know.
そうだね。
I'm sold. I'm sold.
やはりか。練習も必要だしな。それもあるけど、それより問題はアストラルを暴力的な行為に使用してるって印象を与えかねないところ。
Okay, you've got a fair point there, dang it.
もちろん演出だと分かっていてもね。気にする人は気にしちゃうから。
Yeah, and I do suppose that one of the dangers would be one of us going a little overboard on accident. Okay. Alright, you've sold me. Dang it though, I liked it.
学院に認めてもらえない可能性がありますね。そうか。確かにその通りだ。私の意見は取り下げるから忘れてくれ。有原先輩は何かアイディアはありませんか？
How about a cafe that serves light meals? We could have Mitsukaze-san be a cook and keep the kitchen separated from the guests. That'd be a much easier option as opposed to a food stall. I just have to hope everyone would be on board with doing something this simple.
なんか不満そう。なんで提案したサトルがそんな顔してるの？
Nah, it's nothing.
すまん。発表祭は中止にはできない。許可も下りなかった。
Alright, so I mean we thought that was gonna happen. I'm guessing it's because the evidence would be just too traceable, like you said.
それもあるが、上はむしろ発表祭に積極的だ。
Why? They shouldn't have any reason to care.
そうでもない。うちの設立に関わった上の連中はアストラルに対して肯定的だ。
I'm surprised you didn't think about that. I was pretty sure that that was going to be the case.
つまり、その手の企業ともつながりが深い。
You're really telling me they can't cancel this festival for the simple reason of it'll piss off their friends.
いや、理由はしがらみだけじゃないんだ。
No, it's not gonna piss off their friends. It'll piss them off. They probably are like owners and shareholders of these kinds of companies. What, is he meaning to tell me that they directly benefit in some way from the fair taking place? It's obvious to see why students and companies would be invested in the fair, but government officials, the head of secret organization, nothing comes to mind. Why would they care about something as puny as a school fair? Well, this fair in particular. Also, there's one other thing that's been bothering me. Dad's almost speaking like he's grumbling. His tone is evasive and dismissive. Does that mean he's against the higher-ups decision? He can't be happy they'll essentially be exposing Mitsukaze-san to danger. Wait, essentially exposing her to danger. Oh, maybe they want to draw them out. That would also be a motive. No, they're planning to use Mitsukaze-san as bait?
アストラル使いの行方不明について手がかりがつかめない。上はそのことを憂慮している。
It's got a good point. Again, this will probably mean there'll be more operatives here because it's going to become a full operation, I'm guessing, but not ideal.
このまま放置はできない。
I understand that. I really do. But using her as bait? She's a civilian, for goodness sake.
もちろん理解している。俺も同じ気持ちではあるが、上も本気だ。
The nature of a secret organization. Can you refuse?
首が飛ぶ。
You mean that metaphorically?
上の機嫌が良ければ比喩で済む。悪ければ言葉通りの意味になる。
Yeah, because it's certainly starting to sound like we work for the good guys here.
そして、代わりの誰かが作戦の指示をする。その場合、お前とナナミがどうなるかもわからん。もし作戦の邪魔になると判断されれば、
Oh, cool.
本当にすまないと思っている。だが、
I know, we can't refuse. It isn't an option. We'll just have to protect her as the best of our abilities and hope for the best.
情けないが、そういうことだ。
Alright. This whole situation just doesn't sit well with me. But protesting their decision won't solve anything. I'd just essentially be griping and complaining to Dad when it's not his fault. If I want to use my time productively, I should start crafting a plan to protect Mitsukaze-san on the day of. So since she's being the bait, I'll assume we'll have to get her face to face with them.
そうだ。食いつかせなければならない。
There's no way the heck that me and Nanami will be able to handle them alone. That should say Nanami and I. I don't know why they chose it like that.
分かっている。以前にも言った通り、当日は応援を回す。拒否権がない分、本腰を入れることには文句を出さない。なんとかする。そこに関しては信用してくれ。
Good. Thanks. I'm guessing it won't matter though. I think we should probably shy away from anything too elaborate. Our lack of experience would just make it that much easier for us to screw up and get hit by a bunch of unforeseen problems.
一理あるね。
It may seem cliche, but going with something tried and true is the best way to avoid disaster.
奇をてらわず王道での勝負か。定番のいいところは赤字になりにくいだろうってことだね。となると軽食も焼きそばとかたこ焼きとか
I mean, that's pretty basic.
カレーとかフランクフルト、焼きとうもろこしとかも定番で簡単そうですね。あとワッフルとかクレープとか、それぐらいならスイーツ系もよく見かけたよ。
Okay, we've got a lot of directions we're going here. We probably should pick one or two.
ただ定番であるがゆえに他の出し物と被りやすい部分をどうす
There's
るか。
gotta be a way to tie in our abilities.
アストラル能力が絡められれば唯一性を演出できると思いますけど。
I can think of gravitation if we could somehow manage to like serve the food using her abilities to kind of like lift and maneuver them. That could be kind of a cool way to display like serving them onto people's like trays or arms or tables. Water. There are foods that go well with water. Can she work with boiling water? Is that safe? Because I could imagine us cooking something in boiling water in the air would look awesome. But that sounds risky. I don't know.
喫茶店にアストラルか。あ、そっか。もしかすると式部先輩？ちょっとお姉さんにアイディアがあるんだけど、いいかな？
Come on, just say it. Mayu senpai leads us out of the dorm to school building and then to the pool.
それで先輩、先ほど言っていたアイディアについてなんですが。
Mayu loves her drama.
私も基本は喫茶店でいいと思うよ。全く新しいことをするよりも分かりやすくて、変な事故も起きないだろうしね。それでアストラルをどうやって絡ませるんですか？あ、能力で軽食を作るとかですか？ライブクッキング的な感じで。
もしくはアストラルで注文の品を運ぶとか？
二条院先輩の水の操作や綾瀬先輩の力でも運ぶことができそうではありますね。
It'd be really interesting.
それもいい案だけど、その場合2人が働き詰めになっちゃうよ。休憩する暇もないぐらい。
ああ、そっか。
とするとライブクッキングでも同じ問題がありますね。 お客さんが入ってる最中にアストラルを使うのは現実的じゃないと思うんだよ。二人に負担が集中しちゃうから。
I agree. Mitsukaze-san and Nijoan-san are the only two among us that have flashy abilities. Maybe something they could just reset, like a water fountain, like a trickling like fountain or stream that like somehow does some kind of, I don't know, like a fairy, I don't know, but something that could just be reset occasionally rather than constantly cycled. But again, I'm not sure if that even would work. I'm curious to see where she's gonna go with this because I have no idea. What do you propose then?
準備段階で使うってこと。
Oh, interesting.
もったいぶっても仕方ないから言っちゃうけどね。テーブルと椅子をアストラル能力で作っちゃうのはどうかな。
Okay, listening.
テーブルと椅子を作る？そんなのどうやって？まさか水で木を削るなんて言いませんよね。
Well, Mayu can do force fields. I'm assuming she can make particular shapes.
もちろんそんなこと言わないってば。そうじゃなくて水そのもので作るんだよ。
Okay.
おー、なるほど。
I get the idea. Like, if not, that's not the thing going over my head. Going over my head is how, and in a way that doesn't require constant attention.
調度品なんかも作れるといいかも。そういうのって可能なのかな、二条院さん。私の力では細かいこと。例えば、座りやすい椅子のための曲線を作れと言われると少々難しいな。
Right, but that's the thing. I think the shaping isn't supposed to be you. Plus, it places a lot of stress on you. You've had to maintain those shapes for an entire time.
そもそも水の椅子に座ると濡れちゃいますよね。
Ah, that's actually really fascinating. If you could maintain cohesion of the water, technically no. Especially because water does tend to have its ionization. The reason why it tends to make you wet is that ionization makes it want to cling to fibers and fabrics. But if you somehow polarized it in the right way, in proper control, you could make it essentially hydrophobic to all other surfaces. So you could probably make it like effectively tight. I mean, a good example of this is the idea of like if you fall from a great height into a body of water, the water tension makes it temporarily like as solid as like essentially concrete. Like it would be like if you can manipulate surface tension, you could essentially make water a solid object. I mean, that's essentially, and like if you really could manipulate it, like if you could control its state of being molecularly without having to rely on pressure and temperature, for instance, it might be possible for Joan-san to be able to craft ice that is just water in its, molecular like stacked form without relying on temperature and pressure. So you'd have warm ice, which sounds very odd, but like there's nothing to say you couldn't do such a thing. For instance, a good example of that would be if you kept the same temperature but greatly increased the gravity in that area, you would turn all the water into ice essentially, because the pressure would make it turn into a solid and compress, but it wouldn't change its temperature. If anything, actually the temperature would go up. So it gets complicated there, especially with water, because I'm not sure exactly how that might work in reality, because water is really unique where when it stacks itself into its crystalline form, as it freezes, it tends to stack with large gaps and air bubbles inside of it, which is why ice floats on water rather than sinking. Most of the time when something turns from a liquid to a solid, it becomes more dense because it tends to compress and it tends to sink. Ice expands because it incorporates more air pockets into itself, and thus it floats. So if you increase the gravity without increasing the temperature, I'm not entirely sure if that would still hold up, or if the increased pressure would force the water to become more dense in that solid form, like its warm solid form. Again, this is something I don't know because I've just never thought to ask. I'm sure there are people and ways we can look that up, but it's also just something that would probably be difficult to well, I don't know, we could do pressure chambers. I'm starting to really wonder if it's possible to do this, like room temperature ice. Like, is that a thing? Where, because states of matter is derived by pressure and temperature. You can do one without the other. Another good example of this is if you took water and put it into a vacuum chamber and sucked all the air out, the air pressure goes down, the water eventually turns into vapor, it turns into gas. And it gets pulled into the air because that's that's what happens. So if you take that same scenario and you greatly increase the pressure, you would get liquid O2. Yeah. Liquid O2, you can buy a tank of liquid air. And I think when you have an air tank, like when you go scuba diving, I think usually when it's at full compression, like it's at least partially liquid. So yeah, liquid O2 is a thing. I just wonder, have we ever been able to observe it go so far as to become solid O2? I'm really kind of curious now. I'm going to look that up after this.
その意見はごもっとも。でも私の能力を使えば、その心配はないのさ。
Yeah.
手順はこう。まず椅子を準備して、私が能力で透明な壁を作って包み込む。その時、一面だけ閉じずに残す。
So she makes her shield with the side back out. You pull the physical chair out. She sinks it into the water, makes the back appear, pulls it out. You've got a water chair. But then doesn't she have to maintain control of it?
で、椅子を取り出す。多分かなり取り出しづらいから、三笠さんの力で引っ張り出してもらう。これなら多少重くても可能でしょ？
ええ、おそらく家具の範疇なら大抵のものは動かせると思います。
Interesting. So you've got fine control. I was curious about her, how much control she had.
よかった。で、最後に二条院さんに水を満たしてもらって蓋をする。
So if her barrier though is invisible, that's gonna look really weird. Because it's just gonna be water. If it doesn't have any air in it, it's gonna look really bizarre.
こうすれば周りからは水の椅子があるように見える。でも透明な壁があって水に触れることはできないから濡れることもない。
Oh, and if I remember correctly, Meiyu's ability is easy to maintain, but it has to be within a certain distance of her. So she just has to kind of sit in the middle and just kind of go there, like just sit there with all the furniture.
なるほど。確かにそれは面白そうですね。
Let's do a test, like right now.
アストラル能力のアピールにも使えそうです。
てなわけでちょっと試しに作ってみようか。そのためにわざわざプールまで来たわけだしね。
How do you do a table though? Because doing half a table, like leaving a back open on a table, like you'd end up doing half tables. I don't know.
そうですね。
Oh,
まず試してみましょうか。
the top. You leave the top open, and then you can seal the top of the flat portion. Yeah.
では早速。
Come on, I want to see a picture of this.
これで完成。
おー、すごい。本当に椅子の形をしてますね。
でも思ったよりも透明ですね。あや、それが普通だとは思うんですが。
You know what'd be really trippy is if you did it with a live like fish in it. Like that could be traumatic for the fish. I would say don't, but like it would be kind of cool.
それなら本番はわかりやすく水に色をつける方がいいかもしれないね。
I don't know though. With it transparent, like everyone would feel like they're sitting on a cloud or something.
じゃあ解除するから離れて。
Not a second later, the chair collapsed into a puddle forms at the pool side.
面白いとは思いますけど、式部先輩一人に負担を強いることになりますよね。
そこら辺も大丈夫。この学院の研究の一つに能力の維持をさせるものがあるんだよ。
Ooh, that's actually really cool.
これは変化したアストラルの状態を維持させるものなんだけど、維持といっても完璧に固定することはできなくてね。本来は私の能力を解析して固定させようとしてたんだけど、これがなかなか難しくって、結局アストラルが元の状態に戻るのをできる限り遅滞させる効果になったんだけど、これはこれで結構便利なところもあって。
So that wouldn't be helpful unless they not perfect. Simply just means it only didn't last very long. But if it lasted at least like a day, then that was fine.
ごめん、話が長くなったね。
Perfect.
とにかく放っておいても半日ぐらいは勝手に維持し続けることができるってこと。
I like that. That's cool technology. That could be very useful.
そんな便利なものがあるんですか。
Wait a minute. If that's the case, and she's got her force of like affecting like gravity or whatever it is, like she says it's not gravity, but like a pulling force. If she can create a pulling force and you could lock that into place for 12 hours, couldn't you essentially then send something up into space for free? Like, all you need to do is send a capsule up with like a booster and like adjustment thrusters, for instance. And you just have to set the timing right so she has a, like, cause like if she has that, an ability and she can set a set acceleration, or not even acceleration, a set rate, but a set acceleration would be even better. Of course, that could get a little too fast too quickly. And then she could just send something up. It just goes up and up and up, and then it cuts off at the right spot. Mathematically, you could essentially stick it right in orbit and just use the maneuvering thrusters to get around. That would make putting satellites in space so cheap, like insanely cheap. Ayase could just become the new space program.
なるほど。あれか。私も使ったことがある。本当にその状態が維持されるんだ。
Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, I remember her mentioning she used to create her water threads. She used that to create her water threads.
何でもかんでも維持できるわけじゃないんだけど、今回みたいな使い方なら問題ないよ。
Alright, well, I guess the hardest part here is getting permission to use it.
で、どうだい？
I like it.
面白いです。それなら喫茶店そのものに来らなくても十分他にはないものになると思います。
僕もいいと思いますよ。それなら準備段階を除けば力になれそうですしね。
二条院さんと三笠さんは？私に文句はありません。ぜひ参加させてください。
That's cool.
私も問題はありません。それぐらいの使い方なら負担になることもありませんから。
And, technically, we can probably carry everything once it's just in solid water form.
私もいいと思います。
特に反対意見がないのなら、私の案を採用するってことでいいのかな？
Oh yeah.
はい。よかった。他には何も思いつかなかったから、ダメって言われたらどうしようって不安だったんだよね。よかったよかった。
じゃあ、あと決めなきゃいけないのはメニューだね。
I'd say something basic. Takoyaki, maybe something spicy, like for people who have a spice palate, and then a dessert. That'd be great. You had the 3 courses.
あ、コーヒーはお姉さんにお任せ。美味しいコーヒーを準備するからね。
Alright, so coffee, takoyaki, and crepes.
紅茶とソフトドリンクは準備しないとね。
あと軽食の内容ですね。喫茶店ならサンドイッチとか？
Sandwich, huh?
加熱しないものって食中毒を起こしやすいんじゃなかったっけ？
それは私も聞いたことがあるな。加熱するものの方が安全だと思う。
Takoyaki.
だったら
Or yakisoba.
やっぱり焼きそばとかですか？
Oh yeah.
焼きそばならお好み焼きも作れそうですね。
Isn't that like octopus balls, right? Like, am I misread the steak in there? Okonomiyaki.
そういうメニューだと僕は嬉しいけど、女子の受けはあんまり良くないかも。
クレープは？焼きそばを炒める鉄板でクレープなんかもできそうじゃない？
Literally saying, like, it's like the same thing I was saying.
個人的にはお肉、ステーキとかいいね。
Oh, calm down. We can't have all the options. Remember, we're serving others. This isn't just about what you want to eat.
そもそもステーキは予算的に難しいと思いますけど。あとはパンケーキぐらいならできるかもしれませんね。
Oh yeah.
パンケーキにクレープか。話には聞いたことがあるが、食べたことがないな。
They're very similar. The batters are actually shockingly similar. Crepes are a thinner batter, and I believe you don't put in as much, if not really any, like lifting material like baking soda, because you need them to stay relatively thin. They also cook really quickly, so they're really good for a street food. Pancakes are more hearty. If I were in this group, I'd probably be in charge of that, because I grew up, there's like a family tradition that's kind of been handed down father to son throughout like several generations. I don't know how far back it goes, but of being breakfast connoisseurs. It started with my grandpa, who grew up, he and his dad built up summer cabins, like summer lodging cabins up near like Yellowstone National Park. And so people would come out and spend summers and fall and springs and sometimes even winters there, just staying in these like little cabins that were just like little, with like little kitchenettes and stuff. But they, especially at first, also used to provide some basic meals for people who would stay. And so they got really good at doing breakfast. Like they would kind of do kind of what a lot of hotels do now, where they provide a breakfast, but they would do like their own, where they would do like a home cooked breakfast for their guests. So they would come up to the main cabin and eat with the family. So my grandpa got pretty good at cooking breakfast food, and it kind of stuck around as a tradition when they installed kitchens into the actual cabins. So people just kind of would just make their own food. He still would make a lot of breakfast for his family, and my dad picked it up and even worked at a restaurant serving breakfast and breakfast foods at a diner when he was in high school. And so he got pretty good at cooking breakfast food. And so as I was growing up, he would often take the point when cooking and preparing breakfast, and especially when we do bigger dinners, we do breakfast for dinner, we do like really fancy waffles and pancakes and fried eggs and bacon and sausage and all this stuff. And so I learned how to do all that too. And so I'm actually fairly proficient at making a lot of traditional like hearty breakfast meals. I've done crepes before, but it's only been a couple times, and it was all right. I honestly just wasn't that impressed with it. I just preferred pancakes. Like pancakes and making different styles and different toppings. Waffles were always a family favorite. It's funny because like I tried to find a waffle skillet, kind of like the one I grew up with, which was just, it was like a waffle press that you stuck directly on a stovetop. And this old cast iron thing that made these really big, fluffy, square waffles, and I can't find anything like it. A lot of the stuff is like automated, plug into a wall, which I think is like meh. Like you can't control it like I really want to do, like I grew up with. And just doing all types of really fun toppings. Like my dad would always get huge spreads to get all kinds of different fruits and stuff to put onto it. So you could put strawberry preserves, grape or peach preserves. You could go classic syrup, cool whipped cream, homemade whipped cream especially. And then like we're pretty good at doing sunny side eggs. Like that's something I've learned how to do pretty well, and like I can consistently usually keep that yolk runny but cook the whites all the way through, so you get that really just gorgeous cook on your egg. Sausage and bacon of course is fairly straightforward, though I don't really eat that anymore, so I could cook it but I wouldn't be interested in it. Yeah, like I don't know, it's weird I've gotten into this big of thing, but like that's the thing, is like if I were in this room I'd be like, oh, I'll do pancakes and crepes, like that's what I'm good at, like let me take charge of that.
女子には受けそうですね。
この際、できそうなら全部やっちゃえばいいんじゃない?
Not a great idea, actually. If you make your menu too diverse, it becomes too chaotic because you have to cook every meal. Like it makes it hard to cook at speed, you know, like to get customers in and out. And you want to be able to go quickly because every customer standing in line isn't being served and they might just move on. But this isn't for a business, it's for pleasure. And it's not like we're going to be having trouble here. I mean, if Ayase is involved, we're gonna be successful, really. Anyways, I keep rambling about this stuff, but it's breakfast and cooking stuff that's got me all fired up here. Another quick tangent is actually one of the things I used to do to meet people in college. Because when you first go to college, you know like nobody. I was lucky that I ended up meeting people from my high school who were going to college at the same time as me in the same school. And so we just roomed up together. So I knew some people, so I was lucky there. But we knew nobody else on campus, so I thought like a fun way to do it was we'd put together what I called Waffle Wednesdays, where literally I would just make a bunch of breakfast for dinner and just invite people to come over and spend time with us. And we'd do like karaoke or play group games or whatever. And it was a really good way to break the ice. It was a fun tradition that I started for myself, and I'm kind of glad I did. It helped me meet like quite a few people. One of my first girlfriends I met through that program. I'm guessing she was more interested in me, and that's why she came to the program. But the first couple of weeks when we were all freshmen and just all of us had no idea who anyone was, it was a really good way to just kind of get us out of our shell. And eventually we all started, everyone went their separate ways, and it stopped being as big of a thing. But I like to think that for the first few weeks, especially for a lot of us freshmen, it was a really good way for us to kind of just have a mixer. Anyway, enough about my rambling and my just apparently well-documented history of breakfast. Maybe that's something I could try and do someday. If we ever could do and have an official meetup where like I'm going to go to some kind of convention and like I can actually meet some of you in person somewhere, maybe I can try and set up and do a little bit of a breakfast thing in a park or something. It'd be really fun. I could definitely never do that for a large group, but if I could get even like a group of like somewhere like around or less than 10, I'd love to make breakfast for you guys. But I don't know. Not gonna happen. Anyway, why don't we go all out? Nope, I would say no, but I'm sure they will.
でもメニューを増やしすぎるとそれはそれで当日が大変だと思いますよ。
Kyohei, I'm glad you're here.
それもそうか。調子に乗りすぎない方がいいか。
Alright, so why don't we do takoyami, pancakes, and coffee?
でもパンケーキとクレープなら分量を変えるだけで材料にそんなに差はないと思いますよ。
Exactly. You arguably could get away with just taking pancake batter and adding enough like liquid medium like milk and water to just water it down. But you'd also, like I said, the rising component of it would likely, you'd want to like work that out because it might make it too delicate. If you spread it out too thinly and it attempts to rise, it'll make it really unstable and it wouldn't want to flip over properly. But you might be able to get away with it.
ほほう、詳しいね。もしかして料理ができる感じなのかな？
Oh yeah.
ある程度なら。ここに来るまで家事は私の担当だったので、一応。
Yeah, see, if I were there and not like Hibiki, like not in me, and I'd be like, we got the kitchen.
だったら調理を担当してもらえないだろうか、ななみくん。私もいいと思う。いくら簡単って言ってもお客さんに食べてもらうものだしね。ずさんなものを提供するのは良くないね。
Yeah, but she should also make sure she has help. Like the rest of us should be serving, but like she should not be doing all the cooking.
だからななみちゃんさえ良ければ。
はい。私なんかでよろしければ。でもお父さんもサトルくんもパンケーキやクレープを食べたいとか言ったことないので、実際に作ったことはありませんよ。
Oh, that's a shame.
それに普通の鉄板で作るとなると、パンケーキはまだしもクレープは丸く焼くのが難しそうです。
We should just stick with pancakes. It's simple, people will love it.
だとしても普段から料理をしてたんでしょ？それは重要な経験だよ。そう？そんな大した話でもないんだけど。
焼きそばやお好み焼きは作ったことあるんでしょ？なら十分だよ。ぜひともお願いしたい。
It's a lot of confidence you're putting on her. Like, she also might be having legitimate concerns.
負担になるとは思いますけど、お任せできるなら安心です。わかりました。頑張ります。
料理の材料なんかも任せてしまっても？
はい、大丈夫です。ちゃんと全部考えておきますね。
ありがとう。
でもさすがに一人きりだと手が回らなくなりそうですから、お手伝いしてくれる人が欲しいです。
Yep, she'll be head chef, so she'll need at least one other person, probably two. How would you like to work in the kitchen with her, Misakaza-san? I mean, with you as a waitress, it might also turn into a meet and greet with all the people trying to talk to you and shake your hand and all that.
いくらなんでもそれはありませんよ。アイドル活動をしてるわけでもありませんし。
Oh no.
以前に買い物に行った時も騒ぎになったりしなかったじゃないですか。
Huh.
さすがに握手会はないとしても、綾瀬先輩と話したくて何度も呼ばれることはあるかもしれません。
Yeah, because the thing is also you gotta remember we're gonna be on school campus. A lot of people do know you here, and even if they wouldn't recognize you initially, you'll draw enough attention, others might catch on.
三笠さんさえ良ければ厨房でいいと思うよ。どのみち誰かがやるんだから。いや、むしろ三笠さんお手製という歌い文句の方が評判がいいかもしれない。これは売れる。男どもが食いつく。
Fair?
そういうのは
There's that look.
そうだね。せっかくなんだから老若男女のお客さんに来てほしいよね。
売れそうなのにな。本人が嫌なら仕方ないけどさ。にしてもなんだか楽しくなってきたな。純粋な喫茶店とは違うけど結構大規模にできそうだし、これは当日が楽しみだよ。
Me too, actually. I think this has come together as a pretty good idea.
焼きそばにお好み焼きっていうと 喫茶店っていうより海の家なんかを想像しちゃいますね。
That's freaking perfect though, because we're making our furniture out of water. So it's like we're beachside. Oh, that's actually really brilliant. And then, okay, it's super kind of cringe, but it works. We could have everyone have our servers in swimming suits. Maybe sundresses, actually. Sundresses would be better. Sundresses would be more tactful, too. Tasteful.
海の家。そうだ、いいこと思いつきました。
Here it comes.
水を使うんですから、出店場所はこのプールがいいですよね。
Interesting. If we'd be allowed to, that would be pretty cool, actually, because we're enclosed, and people could potentially be playing in the pool. Interesting.
そうだな。プールがそばにある方が助かりはするな。
Yeah, we wouldn't have to move the furniture, really. The pool, let's see. That might actually work pretty well in our favor. There's only one entrance, plus all the windows are located near the ceiling, probably to prevent perverts from peeping. Also, unlike normal classrooms, it's very wide and spacious. Seems fine as long as we get permission.
だったら、店員はみんな水着というのはどうです？
Maybe sundresses?
水着？水着喫茶ですよ。水着喫茶。破壊力のあるフレーズじゃありませんか？
Yeah, we won't need Ayase on the label anymore. If we just call it a bikini cafe, people are gonna come.
男としては興味を持たざるを得ないね。
It's not nice. No.
何を同意しているんだ。そう。
キサキちゃん、先輩もちゃんとした男なんですねみたいな目をやめてくれないかな。
Hey, at least someone said it.
気のせいですよ。気のせい。
Well, you were imagining him in a bikini, huh?
本当に失礼しちゃう。
Dude, maybe you should stop pouting like a cute girl before you go complaining about stuff like that.
サトルまで。
水着で給仕をするなんてダメだ。そんなの発表祭にふさわしくないぞ。
I agree, Hazuki. What if we did sundresses?
別料金で写真 OK までしてしまうなんてまるでいかがわしいイベントみたいじゃないか。
Hazuki, no one said anything about pictures.
誰も写真までは言ってないんだけど。
意外とそういうのに詳しいですよね、二条院先輩。
Oh man, you know she's a freak.
詳しくない。そんないかがわしいイベントなんて全然知らない。
へえ。
そんな目で見るな。
Beautiful. Beautiful.
リドルジョーカー。
Now we've decided what to do, the next step was preparing. That turned out to be a lot more work than I expected. When applying for permission, we had to give a live demonstration showing how exactly we'd be using our abilities. They saw no safety hazards and also deemed it appropriate for the fair. Because of this, we also gained permission to use the pool. It also makes a lot of sense too, because if we had a malfunction, at least like all the water's in a contained place that's built to contain the water. So like if it'd stink if our whole stall got washed out, but at least it got washed out in a place that's convenient to clean. I also think one of the downsides though, like if the pool, it'd be super chlorinated air, like that would kind of suck, but oh well. They also required us to state what we'd be making and how in the written application, so we had to settle on a menu pretty quick. After getting all the recipes, we next had to figure out how to buy everything from, how much it would cost, and also what utensils and cookware we'd need. Basically, a whole bunch of tiny little things like that. I've never participated in one of these events, so I was entirely unprepared for how much work it would take. But my excitement was growing by the day. And I wasn't the only one.
スオは今年何かやるんだっけ？
するよ。みんなで喫茶店を。
はあ、あれか。三笠さんや二条院さんが参加してるやつ。
Oh yeah.
当日は客として行くからな。
おう、俺も行くつもりだぜ。料理もうまいんだろ。
That's cool.
そりゃもちろん。そこいらの店には負けないはずさ。
That's bold of you to say when you're not the cook.
いっぱい食べて飲んでしっかり宣伝してよ。
宣伝なんて必要ないぐらいにはもう知れ渡ってると思うけどな。
確かに。なんせメンバーが派手だもんな。 知ってれば俺も手伝いたかったぜ。
Uh,
二人は何かするの？
おう、アストラル能力を利用してバルーンアートをするぜ。
oh, that sounds cool.
へえ。
ねえねえ、当日は一緒に回らない？うん、もちろんいいよ。どこに行く？私、この舞台を見たいんだけど。そういえば、三笠さん。はい、何ですか？今年もライブやるって聞いたけど、本当？
Oh, what?
ええ、そうですね。でも、一般の方が帰ってから、最後の一曲だけです。
Oh, okay.
ライブイベントというわけじゃなくて、閉幕のセレモニーの一環です。
I guess that's not too bad. It'll be a lot safer.
一曲だけなんだ。そっか。今年は喫茶店もやるんだっけ？大変そうだね。
Yeah.
そちらは一人じゃないので、みんなで一緒にやるのも楽しいですよ。両方ともちゃんと行くからね。楽しみにしてる。ありがとうございます。
After she finished talking to them, I go up to her. So you're doing a live performance again, huh?
頼まれてしまって。
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd be like, my condolences. I guess the cafe wasn't enough for them. Well, that makes sense. They want you to be front and center.
そっちは平気というより、むしろ歌を披露するより反応は上々でした。発表祭の訪問者にアストラルを身近に感じてもらえるいい企画だって言われましたよ。
Okay. Then why'd they make you do the concert too?
先生ではなく執行部からの要請があったんです。
Well, they sound annoying.
発表祭のアンケートで学生が期待していることに上がったって。
Oh.
それで
Well, you dug yourself a hole there, unfortunately.
肩書きだけとはいえ会長ですから、これぐらいは。
I guess that's one more thing for everyone to get excited about. But it'll be completely and utterly ruined if something were to happen to her. I'm still having second thoughts about this plan to use her as bait.
一応できました。これが喫茶店で出すメニュー。焼きそばにお好み焼き、クレープにパンケーキです。
Sounds wonderful.
いいね。盛り付けにもこだわっててプロっぽい。
食べ歩きじゃなく席に座っての提供なので、そこら辺も多少こだわった方がいいかと思って。
So maybe she did practice runs of the food and then took pictures.
うん。そういう部分でも違いが出るのはとってもいいことだと思うよ。
やっぱり問題は味で、喜んでもらえるといいんですが。
What if we do a test run and taste it?
そんな心配するような感じじゃなさそうだけど、匂いからして美味しそうだしね。
Now, Kyohei, I would say let's let you test it, but I'm sure you'd eat like a tire if you were told it was tasty. So let's maybe use palettes that aren't super just flat.
ですね。味見をしてみてもいい？どうぞ。じゃあいただきます。
私もクレープをいただきます。
なら僕は焼きそばとお好み焼きの味見を。
家族以外の人に食べてもらうって予想以上に緊張する。
Don't worry, Nanami. You are gonna do fine.
おいしい。ふわふわでバターの風味もあって本当においしい。
Now it's interesting because I'm guessing these are Japanese pancakes, and from what I know, I've never tried cooking them. I really should. But they tend to be a lot fluffier. They tend to put a ton of rising powder in them. And so cooking them often is actually, you've got to cook it at a lower temperature because you've got to make sure that the heat goes all the way through. I don't know if she's going with that style because I imagine that, especially unless you could cook it in like a sealed, like a rice cooker type of situation, like something where you can close a lid and let it cook on its own, it would take it would take a lot of time to do it like that. So they're almost more like souffles than actual pancakes. If it's standard pancakes though, you can get a little bump in your fluffiness if you add extra double acting baking powder. I'd say so if your recipe calls for maybe 2 tablespoons, not tablespoons, that'd be too big, 2 teaspoons, I would say add another half teaspoon and you'll get thicker, fluffier pancakes. But you've got to be careful because you want to tweak it a lot of it depends on the recipe, the flour you're using, how much sugar you've got. But if you find the right kind of zone, you can get these really fluffy, substantially like absorbent pancakes that are just really good. That kind of knocks it out of the park. But again, you also would want to practice because the fluffier it is, the tougher it is to make sure it's cooked all the way through. And what's worse than a not fluffy pancake is a pancake that is raw in the middle. Death to the pancake's flavor.
そんなお世辞はいいよ。
Oh, come on, Nanami.
お店で出すものなんだから、忌憚のない感想を言ってくれても。お世辞じゃないってば。十分お金を払う価値があるよ。クレープも美味しいよ。もちもち、しっとり。
これは確かにお金を払う価値はあると思う。
Oh yeah.
鷲津って確かに不便にならない程度のお店はありますけど、スイーツのお店なんかは不足してますよね。
Oh, interesting. So this will actually be unique too. Yeah, there's a good chance we're gonna make money here.
確かに。私もパンケーキの味見。
I wonder if the voice actor actually ate food for that because it sounded too real to just be like, you know, like I think they must have actually brought some food in.
じゃあ私はクレープを。美味しい。
Yeah, that was adorable.
ありがとうございます。
いいよ、美味しいよ。このお好み焼き、周りはサクサクなのに中はふっくらで、ベタっともしてなくて。
Okonomiyaki is something I definitely want to try when I'm in Japan. When eventually I can. I want to try all of this, honestly. I'm going to spend a lot of time just trying like street food.
焼きそばもまろやかな感じでいいと思う。ななみちゃん、思ってた以上に料理上手だね。
Yeah, she is.
そうですか。ありがとうございます。
Oh, don't be shy. Yeah, you did good.
こんなに褒められるなんて思ってなかったので、何と言っていいのか。
この味を維持できるなら、それだけで評判になりそうなもんだよ。
そうそう。もし忙しくなってもこのクオリティを維持できそうよ。
That's the biggest concern.
実際にやってみないとわかりませんが、特別時間をかけたわけでもないので、できると思います。
三笠さんはどう？調理できそう？
一応レシピはもらっています。特別難しい工程はありませんでした。下ごしらえさえ終わらせていれば、多分。
まあ、当日は手伝えるところは手伝うから。
So you're not eating too much of it.
本番の不慮の事故やヘルプに備えて、私たちも調理の練習をした方がいいかもしれないね。
Now that's some good thinking. We want to be able to rotate because we don't want anybody, including Nanami, to be constantly working in the kitchen. Like they deserve breaks. We all should probably have an opportunity to explore like the rest of the events, you know?
ななみちゃんの料理があれば、満員御礼間違いなしですからね。やめて、そういうこと言わないで。心臓がドキドキしてきた。プレッシャーが。
You'll do fine.
緊張するには早いよ、ななみちゃん。
それは分かっているんですが。
わかる。その気持ちはわかるぞ、ななみくん。私も本番のことを思うと、胃が
Oh, come on.
キリキリする。
Hazuki, you're gonna be fine.
接客をするなんて初めて。もし粗相をしてしまったら、それを想像すると、胃が。
She's got a perfection complex.
何かあってもお姉さんがちゃんとフォローするから。って言っても接客業の経験なんてないんだけどね。
調理班がお試しをしたみたいに、我々給仕班も練習をしておいた方がいいのかも。
That'd be a good idea.
シミュレーションをしておくのは確かに重要だね。
じゃあちょっと試してみるとして、有原先輩、給仕の練習をしたいのでお客さんの役をやってもらえませんか？
Yes. You want me to?
はい。今回の模擬店のメンツを考えると、 客層は男の人が多くなると思うんですよ。なので
True.
僕も男なんだけど。
Yo, hey, you're gonna be in kitchen. It's fine.
まあまあ、それはそれ、これはこれってやつです。というわけで
Shisaki, come on.
どういうわけなのさ。いやまあ、なんとなく言いたいことは分かってはいるんだけど。
お願いできますか、先輩。
Sure, I'll help. I'm also part of the team, I gotta do my part.
ありがとうございます。
So who's gonna be my waitress?
そうですね。フロア担当は式部先輩と二条院先輩、それに私とスオ先輩もですね。
Alright, if I'm picking, I know who I'm picking.
僕はパスでいいよ。サトルが相手だと緊張しなくて練習にならなさそうだからさ。
True.
先輩は誰からがいいと思います？
Okay, first of all, I know who I'm gonna pick for like my own purposes, but also because, come on, of the two, it's gonna be the most entertaining. Okay, Mayu Senpai would be fun because I imagine she'll turn the flirt up to the nth degree, you know, which is crazy, but come on, we gotta see what on earth she goes through. Like, she's gonna get flustered, she's gonna do something ridiculous. Okay, let me guess. She's going to spill something on our, like, pant leg, and then she's going to hurriedly try to clean it, and it's gonna look really weird from the outside, because that's the kind of thing I would expect. Prove me wrong, game. It's low-hanging fruit, but I that's my guess. How about Nijon-san?
私かどうしていきなり私なんだ
Yeah. Do I need to say anything? Well, you seem the most nervous of the group. So I figured you might as well try and get it over with rather than worrying yourself into a nervous wreck about it.
それはそうかもしれない。
Come on, though, it's me. You can trust me.
練習する番はいずれ回ってくるんですから、最初にやっちゃってもいいんじゃないですか？
That is my philosophy about most everything. Anything unpleasant you want to do, it's just better to get it done.
そうだな。ここまで来て尻込みしてても仕方ないな。わかった。女は度胸だ。じゃあ千咲ちゃん、私たちも二人で練習してみようか。はい、よろしくお願いします。いらっしゃいませにゃ。
Why'd you go cat cafe? Why did you meow?
いらっしゃいませにゃ。
Alright. Hazuki, have you watched more anime than you've let on? Because, that wasn't a rhetorical question. Why are you making cat sounds?
こういう挨拶の方がお客様に喜んでもらえるんじゃないのか？
In some places, yeah, but not here. That's only a very specific subset of people. I mean, sure, it's cute, and people like cute, but that's not what we're going for at this cafe. No cat sounds, please. Act like a person.
なるほど。人か。
Oh boy.
人だな。わかった。
Next prediction. She's gonna go horrifically over formal.
お帰りなさいませ。ご主人様。
Maid, alright? I mean, I was kind of right. No, that's not what I meant.
これも違うのか。
It's cute, but no, we're not doing a maid cafe.
一言にウェイトレスと言っても、とても難しいんだな。
Hazuki, you literally made it more complicated. Just be yourself and just say, hello, what can I get you today? Just be natural.
わかっているんだが、普通と言われても。
Yeah, she's like referencing anime for herself. Like she's not got a good source material with whatever she's thinking of. Just be polite and you'll do good.
そういうものか。丁寧な対応。よし。いらっしゃいませ、お客様。
There you go. That's pretty good. Oh, this is pretty normal.
お席はこちらであります。ご注文はお決まりでありますか？
I kind of like this one too. Why are you talking like a soldier now?
ダメでありますか？
Look, you're trying, but like, it's just coming across a bit stiff and unnatural. If you have to force yourself to act that way all day, you're gonna wear yourself out.
そうでありますね。
Why is she still doing it? Do you never go to cafes or like restaurants in general?
全くないということはないが、あまり行かないな。ここでは寮の食堂で、ここに来る前は母に作ってもらっていたから。
Alright, Hazuki, we're going on a date tomorrow. I'm gonna take you to a restaurant. I might explain why she doesn't know how waitresses are supposed to act.
有原くんはそういう経験があるのか？
I used to eat out every now and then, so yeah, I guess.
だったら私にウェイトレスを指南してもらえないだろうか。
Absolutely. I mean, that sounds even easier, but I could also just, yeah. I mean, I don't have experience being a waiter. If I had more time, we could take her to an actual cafe and let her see for herself, but unfortunately we don't. Oh, okay, so let's take tomorrow. Alright, first and foremost, you need to quit trying to play a character.
わかった。
Typical greeting would be, welcome to our cafe. Would you like smoking or non? Oh, wait. Smoking won't be allowed anyway. So, after the first line, you want to go, follow me to your table, please. And after that, are you ready to order?
いらっしゃいませ。こちらのお席へどうぞ。ご注文はお決まりでしょうか？
Now, good. Now, breathe between each one. Perfect. That should suffice.
なるほど。確かにこれぐらいの方が私も気が楽だな。
Also, you can't forget to smile. You want to look cheerful for your guests at all times.
笑顔か。改めて意識するとなかなか難しいな。
It's not necessarily imperative. Just try and be relaxed.
いらっしゃいませ。こちらのお席へどうぞ。
Oh, but that was so good! A little wider.
いらっしゃいませ。お客様。こちらのお席へどうぞ。
Beautiful. Nice. That was a wonderful smile. As cute as it was, I think you'll be just fine.
かわいいって、そんなことないだろう。
Yes, you are. Pat the head. Her face lights up bright red in an instant. Yeah, she really wanted to get embarrassed easily and show it.
私はどちらかといえば怖いとかお堅いとかそんな風に言われる方が多かったのに。
Scary only makes sense because of what she did at the pool. Prudish I kind of get, but you can always tell she's well-intentioned, which I think always makes up for it. Like, the real problem with prudishness tends to be that it seems like you just want to meddle in people's affairs. You just kind of want to, like, interfere with their fun, you know, being like, you know, just like a nosy body. But, you know, for her, she's just trying to be diligent. So, like, even if it can be a little frustrating at times, I don't think anyone would ever find that Moorish. When you're smiling? I don't think so. No one would possibly think scary after seeing an adorable smile. That adorable smile. Her blushing intensifies. Oh, this is getting fun. She's so red at this point, I'm starting to worry. Your face is really burning red there. You okay?
だって突然有原くんが可愛いなんて言うから。もしかして面白がって私のことをからかってないか？
I wasn't initially, no. I'm not. I truly believe any customer would be happy after seeing that adorable smile.
さすがに笑顔だけで乗り切れるほど簡単ではないだろう。
Oh yeah, well, wait, I'm also saying the lines, but yeah. Well, yeah, there are other things. You also want to think about what your guests want and focus on keeping them happy. But you already had that down pat from the beginning. You're a very thoughtful person by nature.
そうか。
Take a compliment, woman! Your smile is your best weapon. Your guests would much rather see you smile when you come up to them than some stiff expression that makes you seem like you're irritated. Your smile is fantastic, so just do as you're told and you'll do great. That's an interesting line. Just do as you're told and you'll do great. Context is very important with that line.
悪意があるなら怒ることもできるが、そんな風に褒められるとどう反応していいのか困る。
Oh, I'm sorry, but they're honest. You'll get plenty of those from guests. Some of them might even hit on you. You'll need to be prepared for that.
そんな脅かすようなことはいい子なしだ。
I hear the guys chatting up cute girls that they find at a school festival is a pretty common occurrence. Though I've never done that, so I can't vouch for how true it is.
本当か？その割には妙に慣れている気もするが。
I don't think so. I do. I've definitely toughened up from all the missions I've done. That might be why. Well, look, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just saying that you're really cute, and I'm just saying you're really cute, so it's something you might want to keep in mind. He's unintentionally just like blasting her.
またそんなことを言って、私を褒め殺してどうするつもりなんだ。
It's not until your motive. Nothing. I'm trying to give you some advice. Just be wary, alright?
想像以上に苦難の道になりそうだ。
And that's why we're practicing. Let's try rehearsing as many different scenarios as we can. Oh, sweet. Now we get to practice hitting on her?
そうだな。よろしくお願いします。
Okay, you asked for this. Improvements were being made, and through the preparations, we were getting closer and closer to the big day. But yeah, seeing all the excitement around me is starting to weigh on me. I need to do something. Nanami mentioned it once before, but we of the SFD are usually one of the first to strike. This mission, in contrast, is a bodyguard mission. Not only are we inexperienced, we know next to nothing about our enemies. Dad has to be aware of this, and I know he'll send as many of our agents as he can. Still, we can't guarantee Mitsukaze-san's safety, and I hate that. If only we could seize the initiative somehow. I don't want to play the waiting game, I want to be the one to strike first. But doing that might only put Mitsukaze-san in more danger. Honestly, I just want everyone to be able to enjoy the fair. I can picture all my friends smiling. They're all so excited, working their tails off to make this a success, but if something were to happen, it would all be ruined. I just can't bear that thought of that. Come to think, there's gotta be a way to strike them without exposing Mitsukaze-san to danger. Something. Anything. Ah, gosh darn it, I can't think of anything at all. I don't know if it's my inexperience leaking through or what, but I can't think of a single darn plan. I know I have no right to complain with my effed up was my F up that was what caused this whole mess in the first place, but still. Like, our whole reason for sneaking in here was that we could use the Ames database to find the person who created the counterfeit money. Wait, right! We came here to find him! That guy! That flash of insight energized my body like an electric current. I bolt up out of my bed at once, then throw off my pajamas and take out a special outfit I keep hidden. That outfit being my SFD uniform that has the equipped stealth function. After changing into it, I open my window and leap out. What, do we think that guy might have been connected? Wake up. Wake up, I said.
何夢いやでもなんか前にもこんなことが
Took you long enough.
やっぱりまた
Man, he's scared crapless. Well, his fear's pretty warranted considering what I did to him, which I did with the intent of scaring him, so I guess the reaction's a good sign. Should probably keep up the same act as I did last time, otherwise it'll raise questions. Oh, pipe it down, will ya? I ain't here to cause it because of the darn money crap. I just want to discuss something.
話僕にですか
Uh-huh. I need your help, kid.
僕の力って偽札なら
Are you listening? I already told you that wasn't about the money. And don't worry, it ain't nothing criminal either.
でもそれじゃあ一体
I want you to help me protect someone.
どういうことですか
A girl who's about to be targeted by some real nasty fellas. The power you got could come in real handy. If you want more details, then you're gonna end up neck deep in the swamp. You ready for that?
いえ、結構です。遠慮します。すみません。
Shame. Your ability your ability be a real big boon for us.
ごめんなさい。許してください。それよりも、さっきの話ですけど、もしかして、僕の能力で幻覚を見せるってことですか
False flag. Yes.
無理です、そんなの。怒らないで
He interpreted my silence as seething anger. I could correct him, but that would honestly just make this longer.
手伝わないわけじゃなくて、僕の能力じゃ無理なんです。
Explain.
僕の能力は、そこまで強力じゃないんです。僕は相手を騙せるけど、偽物を作れるわけじゃないので。
Ah. Sure you can. You made counterfeit money, didn't you?
さっきも言いましたが、偽物を作れるわけじゃない。相手を騙すだけ。騙したあの二人以外には、ただの紙切れにしか見えないんです。
That is a problem.
人間の場合は、身代わりが必要です。物や人形を人だと思わせるのは、無理です。
Okay. Basically, Suga Hirato's ability only operates on a mental level. He can't actually create an illusion of the person Mitsukaze Ayase. All he could do is make people think that someone else is Mitsukaze Ayase. So the takeaway is this. Then the fellows you're fooling need to be within the area of effect for your ability, right?
そういうことになります。すみません
Every astral ability has what we call an area of effect. Mine, for example, doesn't extend beyond my own body. Nanami's is similarly limited. She can only heal someone within physical touching range. But clearly the misconception doesn't wear off if they leave that area afterward. Tell me, what does it take for it to lose effect?
ちょっとしたきっかけですぐに違和感や猜疑心を抱かれたらあっけなく、あの偽札だって手触りがおかしいとか思われたら、その時点で誤解は解けてました。
Interesting. How would that translate to the misconception of a person's identity?
多分触られた時に見た目と大きく違っていたり、声が違っていたり、そういうのを気づかれた時点で解除されると思います。
That is problematic. It sure won't be easy to create a substitute for Misukasa-san. But what if it's only for a short period of time? If we can manage to fool them for a few minutes, then it could prove to be quite effective as long as we used it at the right time. The main thing we have to take into account is the area of effect. Would a higher link value increase his area of effect? Nanami, for instance, could activate it, and... No, her link value is incredibly high, but I should operate under the assumption that covering the entire school is impossible. Suga still trembles in fear despite my silence. Don't be so scared, kid. I ain't gonna hurt you even if your ability can't help us. But I just might have to, if you haven't learned your lesson and try something stupid again.
それはもちろん、あの偽札のことを許してもらえるなら、僕にできることなら何でもしますから。
Oh-ho. You can't take that back now, you know that? I'm gonna have to do a little something. I'm gonna have you do a little something for me.
すみません。何でもって言いましたけど、これ以上罪を重ねるようなことは。
Do we have another sample kit, like the thing that can like imprint ability? Chill out. That ain't gonna happen as long as you cooperate. I was serious when I said that we're protecting someone. Also, this is gonna be a one-time thing. After it, you'll never hear from me again.
偽札のこと蒸し返さない限り。
Uh-huh.
わかりました。僕は何をすればいいんですか？
Interesting.
リドルジョーカー。
All right, I think this is where we're going to end for today. Looks like we're off to a good start. So we got a cafe. We've got a backup plan to try and protect Ayase. We have the cafe itself, which sounds really fun and interesting. Yeah, I think it was a good episode today. A little bit longer, but I figured I needed to go a little longer because I did a lot of rambling this time. And this was a good breaking point. But yeah, so not really a whole lot to say here other than the fact that it was just a lot of fun. I'm interested to see if we're going to be able to protect her. If Satoru is going to be able to protect everybody and keep the festival kind of going. Because like he's getting a lot more invested and personally invested, which is going to be interesting because eventually I feel like he's going to be asked to do something that goes against like his feelings for his friends. And so I wonder like who's he going to end up being more loyal to, like the secret organization or his friends? Because eventually it might become like they might come into conflict, and that'll be really interesting to see. So yeah, that'll be worth watching for sure. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you guys had a great time. Thank you especially to the patrons. They again were the ones that helped pick this game to play, so thank you so much for them. Give them a big shout out and love, I hope. I'd love to see comments like saying thank you to the patrons, because like really they helped make this channel grow and like let me make more content every day like I've been doing. But it also just means thanks to you for being here in the first place. So thank you. I hope you've been enjoying yourself. I hope you get to stick around and see stuff coming around. We got some exciting things coming around the next corner. Next week, I will be doing an announcement of a new series we'll be starting on Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that. There should be something really exciting on the horizon. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And until the next video watching me, I've seen me in next. I'll see you there.